It's going to be one of those afternoons, I think. Welcome back. Titusville track and field. And the other game of, can we keep the power on?
Yeah, can we keep the power on? Jeez. That's what, twice now, 2-3 times it's gone off on us now. The 3200 relay is complete. Both the boys and the girls who are getting ready now for the girls' 100 hurdles. Running for Titusville, what I have, Abby Saints, Hayden Nichols, and Taylor Atkins. Saints has qualified for districts, second meet of the year at 18.39. She's currently a little bit above that. Of course, weather's going to play a lot in those times in this event. We'll see how this one turns out for Titusville. It looks to me, I remember the Saints girl, I had her when she was a freshman. That was a couple of years ago. I think she'll be in lane 5, which is where you want your best hurdlers. Corry's will probably be in lane 4. Those will be the two to watch here at the start. Again, that's Saints in lane 5. Right now, Saints in second, 4-stepping. And it looks like Titusville will take 2-3 in the event. Saints coming in second. There's going to be another heat here of the girls' 100 hurdles. Looks like Corry has 4 girls running in the second heat.
We've been having some technical difficulties too over at pole vault, so we may have to swing over there a little bit too, Adam. Try to give you a snapshot of everything that's going on. If you're just joining us, we've got Pat and Osco over covering field events. Steve and I are inside the track.
Break over there, the boys.
You'll probably have to try to face us, Pat, if you can.
Where he took third. Thing I wanted to mention was Tanner.
Pat, wherever you're standing right now,
it's not a good place.
Move over into the swamp a little more.
Yes, ground yourself there. Adam spent 5 hours today walking around trying to find every spot that we could pick you up at.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, all right, go ahead.
Okay, so the boys' shot put is over. Lane Ongley took first with the throw of 50 feet 9 inches. Tanner Clifford from Titusville took second with the throw of 45 foot 9 inches, which was almost 4 feet over his personal best.
Wow.
And qualified him for districts. And T-Nap took third for Corry. And girls discus is, I think they're on the final round here, and we should have some scores from it soon.
Okay, that's good. 1-2 for Titusville's boys in the disc, or in the shot put. We're getting, you can see they're moving hurdles. This was one of the things that I really gets annoying, particularly at big meets, waiting for these hurdles to get moved when it's cold. You've got guys that are standing around, no sweats, which drove me crazy as a coach, particularly when the day was cold like it is today. For Titusville in the 110s, Blake Ross, Tyler Gallant, Ty Witoski, Quentin Atkins, Kipton Hunt, and Xander Morgan are listed. I'm not too sure. Blake Ross has not run the last few meets. Xander Morgan is not recorded here in the last few meets, so I'm not too sure whether they're out with injuries or what the problem there might be. But we've got a couple of guys in here that are in 16s, and then looks like one hovering in the 19s, low 19s, and then 20 and 21. And one of the things I can tell you from experience with hurdlers, the slower the time, the younger the boy. These things take a long time to get your technique down, get comfortable going over them, and get yourself in the proper position to go over hurdles. So it takes a while to learn technique in the hurdles, particularly these 110s. Ideally, for the boys and the girls both, in the short hurdle race, you're looking for 3 steps in between the hurdles. And that was something I could never get your son to do.
No.
Of course, your son was also 5'5", and that did not help him any.
No. And we put him on the stretcher every year under your guidance.
I kept telling you, buy a rack and every night stretch them out. Here we go, the boys' 110-meter hurdles. This is a fun event.
Not fun for me, Pat, because I'm sitting next to Steve, and I get punched every time somebody doesn't do something right.
And there's nothing on that track that sounds like a fun event to me.
So Titusville will have, looks like 4 runners in this heat. Looks like maybe only 3, 5, 7, and 8. Now, Corry has a very good hurdler. He is hurt, is my understanding, so he's not running today, but he runs in the 14s in the 110s and runs like 45, 46 in the intermediates. Those are times that you could win the state meet at. Titusville with a slight lead.
Tyler Glant, fast in soccer. And
there you see where he broke steps, and that's what happens to you. You can get caught up in that. Titusville will take 2, 3. I'm not sure the young man who was leading there for Titusville, you could see how he's straining to get his 3 steps in, and that's typically what happens with young hurdlers, is you don't get comfortable going over top of the hurdlers, and so you're really trying to reach for it. That's something that will come as he learns to run the race more and more, and it's just typical of an inexperienced young hurdler, and hopefully he enjoys it enough to come back and spend some time with it. Like I said, 110 hurdles, I ran a lot of these track events, and I always used to kid a lot of our kids that, those of you who are fast and want to run, go ahead and do that. But those of you who are talented, come with me and I'll teach you how to hurdle. Sprinters used to get so mad at me.
Well, Pat and Steve, was it rare to see somebody, a freshman or a sophomore, perform extremely well compared to, most of the time, as by the time they hit their senior year, they're...
It's very, very, it's very rare, and I think it's very rare in any event that's heavy in technique, where you'll see a freshman rule the event. It just doesn't typically happen. Now you'll get, every once in a while you'll come across somebody who will do that. They're just naturally gifted. They got good speed. They've got the right build, whether it's hurdling, whether it's long jumping, high jumping, discus, shot, whatever. But generally speaking, no. If it's a technique style event, you have to spend some time. You have to get some experience in it. So now we'll go to the 100 here on the track. Girls 100-meter dash coming up. It'll be, I have listed here, Burley, Griffin, Nichols, Tang, Ralston, and Curvan. Possibly running, I don't know. Again, there's no numbers, no names in the back, so we don't know for sure who's actually in there, but they're going to run 6 lanes, Titusville in 1, 3, and 5. We're going to see how this goes. Titusville coming in second, but moving up. Does she have enough to catch her at the end of the race? That's one of the things. It looks like she's going to. It's going to be tight down there, but I think Titusville's going to get a one position out of this. I think Corry's going to end up with 2-3. That's a good run for Titusville.
Hey, after watching the Kentucky Derby Saturday, anything's possible.
Yeah, that was. I'd forgotten that the race was even being run. And I saw the highlights of it. This horse coming out of nowhere to win the Kentucky Derby. Whoever owns and trains that horse has to be ecstatic. The value of that horse just increased tremendously.
I made the mistake of, I thought your dad, who loves horses, I thought he'd be a big fan. He does not like those races.
He doesn't. No, Dad's not a horse. Dad was a trail rider. That was more fun, just riding in the woods and so on. The speed, not quite so much his thing here, but I think we have a second heat of the girls 100. I think Corry has one ready to run here, I think. But yeah, no, trails were Dad's big thing. And, horse doesn't bounce quite as much. Which is probably a good thing. This will be heat 2 of the girls 100. I think there's just going to be one runner. This is a tough thing to do.
Well, we wait for that. There's some
pole vault seems to be going. I don't know what the height is that they're going to start at over there. That's one of the things with dual meets. You don't know for sure. They don't have a set starting height. They kind of let kids come in, try to give them a little bit of experience and a little bit of success. So there's no set standard necessarily to start an event. Now, obviously, if you're high jumping, you don't let them start at 2 foot. But at the same time, you don't start them out at 6 foot either. So we'll see how the pole vault now is underway, along with the girls' high jump is still going on, I believe. And we're getting ready for heat 1 of the boys' 100 meter. Burrows. I left my glasses here. Baumel, Brooks, Culpepper, Campbell, Ongley. These are all the ones that are listed, folks. Egan, Fullerton, Ross, Gallant, Atkins, Witoski, Hunt, and Morgan are all listed. Not saying that all these gentlemen will be running in the boys 100. Burrows is his personal best is 10.84. That's pretty good time. 10.84. He ran that at Meadville here a couple weeks ago. It looks like. He will probably be in lane 5. Because right now Titusville has the odd lanes in this event.
Pat, when you're trying to qualify and you're down to your last meet for the season, how much added pressure is on you to perform well?
I think for a lot of kids that, that's a hard place to be put into. You have to do your personal and pull it out on that last possible time, unless the conditions are perfect. You're having a good warm day, but not too hot. Things aren't too stressful for you. And then other people, it's their last opportunity, so they just pull it out at the last minute. So you want to see kids starting to peak at the end of the season. So sometimes it comes down to that last meet. today would not be a good day to try and get your personal best down here, at least. A little windy down here. I know you guys aren't blocked much up there, but you do at least have a little tent over you.
We did put one up for you down there. You know what? We didn't secure it.
It's probably gone.
Yeah.
Good intentions, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the intentions were right there.
Heat one of the boys, 100 meters, just finished Burroughs of Titusville winning it. Young men from Corry taking second, Titusville taking third. So a 1-3 there for Titusville in the 100 meters. Been watching the starts here early in these short races here. They're not quite as explosive as you would like if you're a coach, but then again, with the weather being the way it is, you're not going to see a whole lot of explosive starts. Now, Burroughs got a pretty good jump on the gun there in Heat 1 for Titusville. So a good showing. You're after winning points here. Unless you're one of those kids on the bubble for making the district meet, then you're trying to get that extra tenth of a second or that extra inch or 6 inches, whatever it is. The Heat 2 of the boys 100 meter now coming up. Titusville will have, I believe, 3 runners in it, as well as Corry will also have 3 runners in this heat.
I thank Coach Koval, Coach McDonald for supplying us with all the great stats and information. There's a lot there. There's a lot to it. A lot of numbers to go through.
There's a lot of numbers to go through. They've got it all listed out by meets and their personal records and so on and so forth on these sheets. They did a nice job helping us out that way. Otherwise, we'd have no names to talk about. Heat 2 of the boys 100 meters. And Titusville will take 1 and 3 in Heat 2 of the boys 100 meters. There will be one last heat of the boys 100 meter. There will be 2 runners from Corry, and it looks like 1 from Titusville. Girls high jump is continuing. One of the things we should mention, and it plays a role in the 110s and the 100, and it will could play a role in the 400 and so forth. As you're coming down the home stretch here, the wind's not really, I don't want to say it's really a headwind. It seems to be coming across the track, so they're not being pelleted straight ahead, straight in their face, but that's when wind will affect runs. And so you're coming down the home stretch, the 300 hurdles, the 400 meter dash. You come across the far turn to the home stretch, and if that headwind is blowing right straight in your face, that makes that race awfully hard.
There's the shot.
There's a good view there. This is the pole vault.
Watch it, we'll lose power again.
Right as she plants her pole. And this is a young girl from Corry up and gets over it. Bar's going to stay. That's going to be a good jump. Heat 3 of the boys, 100 meter dash. And there will be 1 Titusville, I think, and 1 Corry runner in this heat. And a little bit, maybe should have fired the gun on Titusville. I think that would have qualified as a false start if he was in Heat 1. But we were in Heat 3. We're going to let him run. That's a good decision from the starter. That's a tight finish there between those 2 boys. I think Corry had a slight, maybe a step lead on him.
Pat, I see Lane Ongley went from 4th overall in the all-time list rankings to 3rd this season in shot put. Did that at the Franklin Invitational. He's been Well, I'll tell you what, he puts in the time, which is awesome. It's interesting to go through that all-time ranking list.
Well, Brent Henderson started a long time ago when Brent Henderson was the track and field coach here, longtime track and field coach here at Titusville, and a very successful coach here at Titusville. And he went back through archives of the Herald and anything he could get his hands on, and he comprised a book. He has a book, and coaches have since kept it going, added to it as needed, of the top, basically, let's say the top 50, maybe the top 60 performances in Titusville track and field. And yeah, it's kind of fun going back through that book and looking if you were a former track person in Titusville to see where your name's at in that book. And yeah, it's fun. As a coach, it was always fun to see one of your kids get into the book, no matter what position. You just wanted your kids to get in the book. That's what you were looking for, you know. Like all athletics, it's subject to you know, your physical abilities and your physical talents, and some of you know, the kids that get listed in that book have done a tremendous job just to get there, even if it's 50th. You know, so it's a nice book to have. It's they do a nice job of keeping those records.
It's always nice when your kid comes home and tells you that they just passed you in the book too.
Yep.
it does.
I think Pat sank in the swamp now.
He might have now. Yeah, it's always fun if you have your kids doing the same things that you did. They come back and say, "Hey, I got you, Dad." And my kids, I didn't have. The only one that I had that had a shot at me of my kids was my youngest, Sam. And he finished 4/10 slower than I did in the book in the 110s. I had the 15.3. He had 15.7. And I'm sure it always stuck in his crawl. But, you know, yeah, it was funny. Here we have the 1600, I believe, is on tap. Here they're running both the boys and the girls at the same time. For the 1600 meters, I have two, Ella Donaldson, Sarah Kaminsky, listed for Titusville. And for the boys, let me find the sheet here for the 1600. Well, there's the hurdle sheet, long jump, triple jump. Where'd he hide it on us? Right now, Titusville running 2-3 for the boys. Now 2-4 as Corry has 1 and 3. Well, maybe. No, I'm still looking for his sheet on the 1600.
You find a different spot over there, Pat?
Moving around a little bit, keep coming back towards you guys a little bit.
Okay.
Out of the swampy area. I can hear you better when I get over here and make sure my connection is good. When there was a while I wasn't listening to you guys, which was kind of nice, actually. Found out that the earpiece was a little temperamental and had to get it changed around a little bit. So
let's see here. What do we have? The 1600 for the boys. Cartney, Hosick, Wolfkill, Steinbuehler, and Rhodes are possible entries. Again, Titusville only has, they have 3 boys on the track, so I don't know what 3 are running this. And a lot of this is scheming and planning by the coaches as to who's got the best fit and gives us the best chance at winning a meet. Right now, I think Corry boys are in first, Titusville second, and Corry third, Titusville a close fourth there. So he's in a good position for the Titusville boys. For the girls, I'm looking to see if Titusville has at least one on, and she may be in first. Cool. It's like Corry also only has 1 girl running in the race. So Titusville girls, I believe, first place right now in the 1600. Corry falling a little bit off. If you're the runner for Corry, if you're coach for Corry, you want your runner to stay a little bit closer to the Titusville person. One of the things in the distance runs is you don't want your kids running quote unquote by themselves. You want them to stay within a noticeable distance so that they can make a push at the end if they have to try to win the race. But that's the gap between the Titusville girls and Corry girls is starting to widen a little bit. That would worry you. But the same thing is happening for the boys. Corry's Myer is extending his lead there. As you can see, there's Titusville in second in the 1600. I believe we have the bell lap for the boys. Titusville now 2-3 in the 1600. Coming off the corner now is, I believe, the first spot for the girls 1600. Titusville's runner is comfortably running. And she's opened up quite a gap on Corry's runner. Corry's boy 1600 runner now kicking it in. He's going to finish at about 4:55. Titusville is going to finish 2-3. They're going to come in at about 5:06 and 5:08. So Titusville will take 2-3 in the 1600 for the boys. And like I said, for the girls, she has a pretty comfortable lead now on the Corry girls. Titusville should win the 1600 for the girls as well.
It's either we get a lot of wind or the sun comes out for a second.
Well, yeah, because you know, you don't want to get used to any one thing for too long here in Northwest Pennsylvania, particularly in the spring. You know, that old adage is if you're not happy with the weather, wait 5 minutes applies both spring and fall here.
Or anytime there's a track meet.
Or anytime there's a track meet. Any outdoor event really is can be interesting here. Titusville now coming home on the 1600. I believe this is Ella Donaldson, as I've heard some girls yelling for Ella. She is indeed going to, I believe, win the girls 1600 meter. And here comes Corry's 1600 finisher as she tries to kick it in.
Looks like a lot of district qualifiers for the Rockets. Aaron Burrows, Blake Ross, Lane Ongley, Cam Bauer, Tyler Gallant, Quentin Atkins, Zach Bummel, Michael Culpepper, Sawyer Wolfkill, Ian Cartney, Landon Hosick, Grayson Steinbuehler. Grayson, a great cross-country runner. And then you got those who are so close. Zach Bummel, Michael Culpepper in the 100 meter, Cameron Bauer, Tanner Clifford, Axel Brooks, Xander Morgan.
That's a good showing, and you know, for Titusville's track team, you know, that number of district qualifiers, you know, it's not easy to get there, and I don't know the age of our track teams, whether we are senior heavy or whether we're sophomore, junior, sophomore, freshman heavy for this year's team. But that's a good number of district qualifiers, and hopefully we can add a couple more here throughout the day today. Coming up on the track now, I believe, is going to be the 4x100 relay. They'll run both boys and girls together on this. Baumel, Gallant, Culpeper, and Burroughs will be running for Titusville for the boys. For the girls, I've got Nichols, Ralston, Burley, and Blakesley scheduled for the 4x100 relay. The thing with this, the big thing with this race here is going to be the exchanges. You've got to have good exchanges on here, on this race. You know, ideally, the guy coming in wants to be able to hand that off at whatever his peak speed is to the guy who's going to receive the baton at the same speed with a good distance in between them. You want, end to end of that baton to be passed. You don't want somebody having to slow down, particularly the guy that's going to get the baton. You don't want him to have to slow up. So your timing has to be really good in this event.
Pat, I think we fixed something on our end, so it should be a little bit better for you.
You fixed something up there, did you?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Get a little water in the line or something? And
Well, I don't know. We've had a lot of issues up here today, but the view's fantastic. It's funny. I remember looking over when my kids were in track. If you didn't get that baton handed right, Coach Corcoran over there would give you the look.
And Coach Corcoran has been doing this a very, very, very long time. I think he started probably in 1980, 1981, 1982, somewhere in that range. He started coaching, and Coach Corcoran, I know because he graduated in 79, I graduated in 80. So I got the opportunity to participate in athletics with Coach Corcoran, very driven young man back then. And as an adult in his coaching, same way. You're going to do it. You're going to do it right. We're not. You're not down here to get your picture in a yearbook. We want you to perform. We want you to do it right. And he does a lot of work throughout the course of a season in handoffs. And one of the things, and I don't know how this has gone, but particularly in this 4x1 relay, is consistency. Consistency with your runners. Because if you have one of your guys go down to an injury, you've got another guy you've got to adjust for. And, so if you get four guys that are, are your speedsters and they consistently run together, those handoffs should be really good this time of year in particular. Checking the exchange zones for the 4x100. They are not going to run together. I take that back. They're going to run the girls 4x1 first. So it looks like the exchange zones are ready for the start. Nope, I'm sorry. Exchange zone 2 is still with the red flag.
It's also fun watching Coach Koval, like Coach Henderson back in the day, just wandering around all over the field. That's one of the things they were very, very good at. Is they had a very good idea of what was going on throughout the meet at everything.
And one of the things Coach Koval does too is they'll keep a running tab. They'll pre-score the meet, and which good coaches will do. And as the meet goes on, you'll see whether you're plus or minus what you figured the final score to be, and you'll make adjustments possibly. And some of them were gambles. I remember when I was coaching Coach Henderson, one of his last years, we were at Seneca, and it was going to be a tight match. It was between Titusville and Seneca. And he had it scored. It was, here's the start of the 4x100. But he had it scored tight, and because he kept track of that, he knew what to do at the end of the meet. Titusville won the league that year because you've got a coach who cares and keeps things under wraps and has left himself changes that can be made to help. Titusville now, the second leg, has about a 10-meter lead in gaining into this second exchange zone. Nice exchange there. Third leg's on the move and starting to open up a little bit more of a gap for the girls coming into the fourth exchange. Here you just want to get a good exchange. And you're coming down the home stretch now. Titusville with a very big lead in the 4x100 relay for the girls. And they're going to come across the line at about 53 seconds. So Titusville will win their second relay, and these relays are big because the winner gets 5 points, the loser gets none. So they're big events in a track meet. And it looks like the boys' high jump is getting ready to go. Girls are getting their run-throughs in on the long jump. And the start is ready for the boys, 4x100 meters. Their best time, 46:14 at Meadville a couple of meets ago. Let's see how close they can come to that. Corry being able to keep the stagger alive as we go into the first exchange zone. Good exchange for Titusville, good exchange for Corry. Titusville now gaining ground, now takes the lead. Coming into the second exchange. There's the exchange, good exchange for Titusville. Third leg coming around the far corner, coming to the fourth exchange zone. Titusville with about a 10-meter lead. Coming to Burley. It's a little bit of a stretch, but they managed to get the exchange there. And well, I'm not sure that's Burley running the last leg for Titusville, but Titusville's going to win at 46 to 47 seconds. Not a bad time for Titusville. They'll win their second relay for the boys. Good run. The exchanges were pretty good. A little bit, I thought, maybe on the third exchange, between the third and fourth legs, a little bit. Maybe the fourth runner took off a little bit early, possibly. I'm not sure, but again, they'll get the baton around the track and get points, and that's what you want to do here. Now will come one of the, I'm going to say it's probably, in my opinion, it's the second hardest race for a sprinter. This is the Open 400. This is one lap around the track at full speed. The only one that I think is a little bit more difficult is the intermediates, the 300-meter intermediates, because you've got steps to worry about to hit the hurdles with the right legs and so forth. But this is not a fun event to run. It takes a certain kind of athlete to run this. Aubrey Nichols and Marley Griffin are the girls I have listed, along with, I think this is right, on page 2, Curvan, Ralston, Tassone, and Bear. But I don't think we're going to see all of those girls. I only see 2 Titusville girls at the starting line with blocks. I don't see anybody from Corry. But we'll see what happens here. Sometimes kids will show up there right at the very end.
We do have field events up on the screen as well.
This is the boys' discus. It looks like it's underway now.
Oh.
And that one slipped.
That's a good thing to have a net for.
I was expecting you to try to catch that, Pat.
Yeah, I'm going to stay back out of the way. I learned my lessons years ago to stay back away from that.
They don't get flags in track.
No, they don't. You remember the old days, Pat, when you didn't have these things.
Nope.
And, you know, every once in a while, one of those little discs would be thrown the wrong direction, and you were yelling look out, people be ducking.
And you were over in the middle school
Yep.
field over there, so if they went the wrong way, you hit a car.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
so while okay, so track was at Carter. Pat, you were across the way over in the middle school area.
Well, discus was.
Okay.
They threw shot put on the edge of the cinder field and just inside the track. So you'd be sitting there and runners could slap you as they were going by. And Jav was in the middle of the football field. And, you know, you had to worry about people warming up on the field, not paying attention when the javelins were going.
Has technique stayed the same in the field events, or has it changed a little bit over the years?
It has changed quite a bit over the years, especially for shot put. There's different techniques for throwing it, and getting coaching staff that knows some of the different techniques and change what they feel works better for the younger person than college athletes sometimes is nice to see that. So,
Well, yeah, one of the bigger things in the shot put is you never saw anybody spin in high school.
correct, it was always a slide.
Always a slide, and now you've got kids in high school that will spin throwing the shot put, and that's a complicated endeavor. Learning how to do that spin for both, if you're doing it for the shot put, but as well mostly for the discus.
And they're all wearing throwing shoes now to get some better traction and get decent throws in. It's always unique to see kind of the changes with it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes, I think, from quote-unquote the old days when we ran and participated to now. Of course, things always advance. There's the end of Heat 1. I think the only heat for the girls 400. Titusville takes 1-2. Corry had no runners.
I feel bad, like I can't add anything to this conversation. Like, hey, I went from a wooden racket to not a wooden racket. But that, we would have fun playing with a wooden racket in tennis, just for fun. But
it's, the biggest thing in tennis that I can see now is pickleball. Makes a huge
Competition for the
difference.
courts.
Yeah. I've never played pickleball. I don't know if you've played pickleball or
No,
not.
I refuse.
I've never played pickleball in my life. I have no idea how it's done. I know it's a very popular thing, but I just don't think I would have the ankles for it. There's a pretty good toss from a young man there in the discus from Corry. Boys high jump is now officially on the way as they put the bar up.
It is nice when you see those discs hitting out there and you just see the splash.
Yeah.
probably makes it easier for them to find it, right?
Sometimes not.
Oh.
When it gets buried in that bottom of that puddle, you got to go digging around a little bit.
Got to dig it out.
Sometimes they land pretty good and will stick into the ground. Wrong.
Here is the boys open 400 meters. 2 runners for Titusville, 1 for Corry. We'll see if we can. 400 meters, Burrows, which I don't think he'll be running at Baumel, Brooks, Kemple, Steinbury, Morgan listed as possible entries. I don't know exactly what 2 drew the short straw and have to run it, but again, Titusville in the open 400 for the boys, 2 runners. Corry has 1 runner.
Even the high jump, Steve, just watching the warm up and the technique for everybody, it's
vastly different.
Yeah.
My dad would tell you he used to flop instead of. Yeah, he hit it with his hand. And the open 400 is open. Titusville right now 1-2, coming down the far straightaway and opening up a sizable lead. I think Titusville will take 1 and 2 in this one. That's not really much of a prediction there, is it, Luke? About a 30
I was just told to just nod and
about a 30 meter about a 30 meter gap now as they come off the far turn, coming down the home stretch. And one of the things you look for in 400 meter runners is this home stretch. Can they keep their stride going and not tighten up so much. And you see them really working their arms coming down the home stretch. That's not bad running there. The young man from Titusville taking 1 and 2. And Corry's going to finish this one off in 3rd. But both runners look pretty good form-wise coming down the home stretch. And that's where you really start getting tight in that race. Titusville now up in the boys' discus. I guess pen you call it with the netting up. I'm not sure.
I think they usually cage.
A cage.
We'll have to use that this fall. Pat's been released from the cage.
Yeah. We let him off. Yeah.
Today either. There was part of me that was like, oh,
He's leaning in.
fun and need chest waders down here for parts of this field.
Ugh.
Watching the boys high jump again. I haven't seen anybody clear a bar yet. And again, this is opening heights, and you've got young kids jumping, so you're trying to push them here a little bit. But I've only seen Titusville jumpers. I haven't seen anybody from Corry yet. Now, Corry, I don't know the situation necessarily with Corry. They may have, all the kids they figure that are going to qualify for districts, and so they're kind of pulling back a little bit. I don't know for sure exactly what's what there, but
What's the training involved there, Steve? I mean, are you asking the kids to put weights on their ankles and
in what exactly?
a high jump?
In the high jump? No, high jump is again it's one of those technique events. It's steps, it's speed, it's planning. And one of the things that sometimes people don't realize is it's how close you get to the bar, because you got to remember your momentum's taking you to the bar. So if you're too close to the bar when you take off, you're going to hit that bar going up. So you've got to get them to come back, and the way you do that is their start point gets moved back. The hardest part is making the kids understand that you don't change your approach. Your steps have to be the same, and that's very, very hard when you can only do it for 3 months. But you move their starting point back. That gives them a little bit more time to get to their peak height before they're at the bar, and that's the big thing you want to do is get them peaking over top of the bar, not too deep into it, not in front of it, because you'll hit it coming down as well. And so their steps have to be the same, both in distance and in speed. You got to get them to accelerate as they come into the bar, so you have to be able to hold that, what I used to call J curve, on your approach to the high jump. You have to be able to maintain control, because part of the rotation comes from coming out, so you're leaning inside away from the bar and back a little bit until you hit those final 3 steps where you're gearing yourself up to go. Once you do that, physics takes over, and that allows the body to turn so that your back is to the bar. But all of this has to be timed out so it all hits perfect at the same time. And when you're doing it, your first 2 weeks of track, you can't jump because we don't have jumping pits indoors. And, this year it could have been 3 weeks that they're doing that. Set up now for the girls' 300-meter hurdles. This is another fun event. 300 hurdles for the girls. We're going to be looking at, again, Saints, Nichols, and Atkins. For the girls, this is 300 meters. There are 8 hurdles in your way.
Glad we don't have the telestrator for this, Adam.
And they're rough. You start on the far side of this one. We go to hurdle number 1, and it looks like Titusville is in first. You can tell by when they get to the hurdle. Yeah, about a 2-step lead. Titusville now running at about 1-3 in this event. Now you're going to watch as they come into the hurdles here. You want them to be regular strides. That's what you're trying to get to. That one not too bad there for Titusville. On the outside lane, and we'll see, you don't want them chopping a whole lot. Titusville now trying to get 1-2. I believe this is Saints clearing the outside. and she's looking good. She's got a good stride going. That's good, not stuttering there. Titusville trying to take over too. Saints doing a nice job in that run. Titusville now going to have to gut it out and see if they get two. Too hard to see from here. Titusville will get either 1-2 or 1-3. But I thought, form-wise, for Abby Saints, I think she ran very, very well. Very little stuttering. That's what you know, that little tap, tap, tap before you get to the hurdles. You want to eliminate that because that's actually slowing you down. So if you can hit them in stride, that's ideally what you want to do. And I thought I thought she had a good run there for the girls. Again, Titusville either 1-2 or 1-3 in the girls 300 meters.
I assume I've watched a couple as they get close to the hurdle slow up just a hair.
Mm-hmm.
Should they be doing that, or should they be going?
No, you never slow up at the hurdle. One of the things I used to tell my kids when I was working to them is, if you want to be really good in hurdling, whether it's the 110s, 300s, doesn't make any difference. If you want to be really good at this, you have to do one thing first and foremost: is you have to attack the hurdle. It's like baseball. Don't let the ball play you. Okay, you've got to. If it's a slow grounder, you've got to tack up. You've got to hold your ground. In hurdling, it's the same thing. Do not slow down at the hurdle. Two, the other thing you have to understand, if you want to be really good at this, the hurdle's going to beat you once. At least once, you're going to fall. It just happens. Unfortunately, I had a girl at the district meet. She was in the 100 hurdles, and she hit the third or fourth hurdle, down she went. You know, you hate to have it happen at that point. Landon Wolfkill, when he was a junior in the intermediates, was coming on very strong, had a good chance at winning that race, and hit the sixth hurdle. And he fell. He rolled and finished the race and just missed qualifying anyway. But that's, if you want to be good, you're going to hit a hurdle. It's going to get you.
Well, that was Franklin, right? Down in Franklin, when it was kind of a wet morning, and
no, this was at the district.
Okay, because I saw him.
Yeah, he did it once at Franklin too. Yeah.
I think you're trying to get him qualified. And I think that was the weekend. You're picking up the phone saying, "Okay, where can we go on tonight to run so we can get you."
Yeah, we took him to McDowell. Here's the boys. 300-meter hurdles. Titusville with 5 runners. Corry has one young man who looks very strong right now. Notice that he's not stuttering. Corry in 1, running smooth. And he's not breaking stride at all. This might be their best hurdler. They may have run him anyway. We'll see what happens here. You see how he runs. There's no slowing down. The stride's the same. He hits the hurdle. Notice he's not jumping over the hurdles. He's attacking the hurdle. A little bit off there, but not bad. But 38, 39. Yeah, that's probably their best. They probably pulled them from the hundreds. The Titusville will take 2-3. We're going to finish at 47 and maybe 49. We'll get 2-3, but you're not going to see many kids run like that. The young man from Corry, and again, this might be the young man that has been very strong in this event for years. He's got size. He's got the right size. He's got strength, and he's got stamina. And if you notice, as he comes down through here, other than the last hurdle, I thought he stuttered a little bit at the last one, but that may be, like I say, I heard that he was a little bit hurt, so it might be something there that caused it. But his first few hurdles, you watch his first 7 hurdles, never breaks stride. If you watch a hurdler's hips, particularly in the intermediates for the boys, your hips will naturally float a little up and down as you run. But a lot of kids have the idea that you have to jump over the hurdle, so their hips give you an arc. His are pretty straight. Yeah. He's just hitting that hurdle, and he's just straight over it. Very, very strong run, impressive run from the young man from Corry.
Pat, in terms of the view we're looking at, talk a little bit about that technique. It's interesting to see. You've got people, obviously it's cold, so people are wearing, sweatshirts and sweatpants, and others are in their, team attire. But just the arm motion and kind of that stretch.
The stretch, it's also getting a point in the horizon when you're throwing the discus. You're coming around, you have to have a point that you're releasing to and looking at. And so that does make it hard when you're traveling place to place to place. Sometimes there's a good point up in the trees that you're looking at, or some locations are just natural for certain throwers to have that ability to pick a point out and throw at it. Other people, sometimes when you're throwing just up into a blank sky, they don't do well. So, depending on which kid you have, and they were talking down here earlier, they really haven't had a good day to practice. They've either been at a meet or it's been a monsoon. Titusville hasn't had a lot of practices in because, like you said, there's no indoor facilities here for us to be throwing into. They'd complain a little bit if we were throwing in the new basketball court.
Well, never throw in a basketball court. What are you talking about?
It'd be a good place to throw those shot puts.
You don't throw shot puts on a basketball floor. That's just sacrilege there.
And since you mentioned that horizon comment, Pat, I'm looking at the head movement too, just seeing if the eyes are drifting or if they're finding that set point when they're throwing.
And it affects some more than others, depending, when you look at some of these kids are throwing, in the 70, 80 feet, and then you look at Ongley is throwing out in the 160s at times, which, he hasn't been out there quite today, kind of a miserable day for it. But, when you're getting it there, you are getting a little wind to it. It will affect it a lot more than shot put, not quite as much as jab, but, we've had a lot of people fouling, going out of bounds. We've only had one hit the post in the cage, so decent day for it. Pretty cold and windy, but they still look like they're having fun. It's nice to see a bunch of kids down here from the Corry team.
From where they're
in the car,
from where they're throwing, what's the wind direction? Like, is it?
The wind is going with them.
Okay.
So they're. And jab, they got a little bit of an angle with it.
But it makes it challenging.
Yeah, it does. On the track, we're at the 800 meters. They're running, I think, boys and girls at the same time, which is a little odd. They don't normally do that. The 800 meters for the girls, I see a Donaldson, Kaminsky, Griffin, Barrett, Nichols listed, but I only see, I think, one girl on the track. For the boys, in the 800, if the wind would quit blowing, McCartney, Morgan, Wolfkill, Hosick, Burrows, Steinbuehler are all listed. They have 3 on the track, and they are running right now as a pack, 1, 2, 3. I don't know why you ordered the wind.
It is amazing the conditions he orders up.
I know it is, isn't it?
I was trying to come up with something stupid.
Hey, I get these idiots to agree to broadcast with me. Let's the little cold temperatures and some wind in for them and make it really interesting.
At least he puts you under a tent. He shoves me out in all kinds of elements.
Yeah,
in the swamp.
I have a better agent apparently.
You must.
Titusville now, the boys coming in on the home stretch for the 800 meters. They are 1, 2, and 3, so Titusville will sweep the 800 as well.
All I can think about, Pat, is the Monty Python Holy Grail when they built the castle on a swamp and it sank in. They said they built the second one on a swamp and it sank in, but the third one, or the fourth one, stayed up.
Titusville, I just saw, I think it was Ongley just throw the discus there, Pat, but he looked a little disgusted. Did it go foul? Or?
It went foul.
Went foul, okay.
It was a nice throw for distance, but again, it was about 2 feet out.
Okay. And there again, that's we talk about timing in the high jump and so forth. It's timing here. You release it a little too soon, it goes foul. You hold on to it a little too long, it goes foul. So, all that, the spinning and the steps and all of that stuff plays a role there, and timing too, to make sure that you're in between the white lines. Titusville now, girls going to finish. I think the only girl for Titusville. No, there's another one running too. I wasn't sure. She has a sweatshirt on, so I couldn't see the jersey. Titusville will take 1, 2 for the girls in the 800 meter.
This meet originally scheduled for yesterday, but postponed to today due to the
due to the weather.
Storms, yeah, I guess.
Other than the rain, which I think didn't really materialize the way they thought it was going to yesterday. Yesterday might have been a little warmer day to run it in. But again, yeah, there was rain predicted to start at about 3 o'clock or 3:30, and it was supposed to be heavy rains, and I don't think they ever materialized until about 7.
Which is crazy. Monday we're doing tennis and it's 70.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are a couple days later. And
Yeah, and
6th of May.
yeah, it's not. Now, my mother has told me that she has seen snow in June, and I told her to bite her tongue and don't want to hear that.
Well, she doesn't get to say much anyways. 'Cause
No, she
who
doesn't.
she lives with.
Yeah, yeah, we won't mention any names, but
Hey, watch who you're picking on here. He's not here to defend himself. That just means
That makes it better, Pat. It makes it better.
He's going to get even at some point.
makes it easier for sure.
You know he'll get even.
Pat, I got a text this morning at 7:30. Track today? I'm like, who were you talking to?
Titusville now, the boys' high jump still going on. We have one jumper in. I haven't seen a Corry jumper yet. We're now at the 200 meters now on the track for the girls. Burley, Blakesley, Ralston, Tassone, Bear, Atkins, Saints, and Nichols listed as possible contestants. I don't know which ones we will see for the girls.
Pat, when they're not involved with events over there, what are they doing? Are they huddled together, or are they just kind of moving around to keep warm?
There's a little bit of goofing around and things like that, trying to stay out of the puddles, and kind of, some of them are a little more interested in how well they threw. Some of them, they know they didn't throw well, so they kind of move off and go on to the next event and get warmed up for that, go over and see how the girls jet. And, a little bit of everything going on.
Yeah. Well, you guys can roam around or do whatever you need to do, or what's?
We're going to wait and see what
Okay.
are here, and then let you know where Titusville placed and Corry and who.
Awesome.
I'm surprised you said nobody was gathering firewood.
It'd be a good day for a little fire down here. Dry the boots out when you sink in.
Hold on tight. We'll get somebody down there.
On the track now, the 200-meter first heat for the girls. I think there might be 2, but I'm not sure.
How much time, Steve, is spent by the coaches working on just getting off the blocks?
A lot of time. A lot of time. In 100, 200 meters races, starts are critical. Of course, the shorter the race, the more critical it is. Even in the 110s and 100 hurdles, you have to spend some time with your blocks, particularly in those races, because as you see Titusville coming down the home stretch in 1-2, Corry in third, but in the hurdles, you've got to get them to the first hurdle at the right spot with the right foot, and so there's a lot of playing with blocks and so forth. And the starts are a little different between just a flat-out sprint and hurdles. Sometimes you got to play with that first step out of the blocks and the hurdles to get them there, because you can't make the right adjustment. But it's you spend a lot of time, because you get a good start, you win a race. You get a bad start, you can lose a race. So the starts are very critical. Looks like there will be a second heat of the girls 200 meters. Heat 1, again, Titusville, 1-2. And in the pole vault, we looks just gandered over across there at the pole vault. Looks like we had a young man clear height. They're measuring at the boys' discus now, so we should get those results here in a little bit. Based on what we've seen on the track and what we've heard there from Pat over there, it looks like both Titusville teams should be in front, I think, in the meet scoring. And now the starter's ready for Heat 2 of the girls' 200 meters.
I had a chance about a month ago to transfer some VHS films over to digital. They were from MacNap, and they were of track, and had CJ's state pole vault event, and yeah.
There's you go back and you look at it like we talked about the record book Titusville has on file. You'll find that there's a lot of times and distances, heights, whatever, that are very, very competitive with some of the best in the state. Mac Knapp, if I'm not mistaken, was a state champion in the 3200, I think, and maybe the 16. I'm not sure. I think C.J. Curvan finished third, I think, in the states in the pole vault. We had a couple other kids that placed very high. We had just in recent memory, Cortland. Brady Cortland finished third in the intermediates. We had Big Frank is what I remember him as, but he swam. He was the district champion in the 110s, and he placed sixth at state in the 110s. Frank Barger. And then we had.
I remember that because he went to states for swimming, and that ran well
into track season.
Yeah. And you're like, hey, we got what? I can't remember. Is it a week, 2 weeks that you have to go from one sport to another?
Well, it used to be that way, but he was 3 weeks into track season before his swimming was done. And by that time, you're a week away from your first meet, and I know people say, well, he's in condition, he's swimming. It's a different type of conditioning. Everybody says that, and it's different when your legs are doing a lot of pounding. Your legs have to get used to that. There's a miss at the pole vault. I don't know if that's Titusville or Corry. I think it's Corry, but I'm not sure.
But to your point, yes,
it's tough to do that. And the smaller schools have more of an issue, I think, than larger schools because your athletes are not as high numbered. You don't have as many. So when you get a good one like that, of course, everybody wants them concentrating on that sport. Here's the heat one of the boys. 200 meter Titusville in lane 3, I think. Get out 3 or 4. Good start there. As we make the turn coming down the home stretch, we're going to be in position 1. We're looking at 1-2 now. Corry fading back in lane 1. And Titusville will finish 1-2. And maybe he's not quite going to get there. But Titusville finishes 1-2 in the boys 200 meters. But yeah, that's the tough part when you're doing things and you're a good athlete here. Everybody wants you concentrating on their sport, which is just typical. But yeah, Frank was one of those. He was a very, very good swimmer. Matter of fact, I think he went to Edinburgh to swim and did do some track for Edinburgh too, I think. He was a good high hurdler. So we had, there's been some good performances. Our kids get to states, they seem to perform well. We don't seem to shy away from the bigger meets, and that's a credit to these kids and the guys working with them. Here's the boys' high jump. And just a little bit slow with his feet kick.
See, I'd go over and I duct tape that pole, and then that way.
And you would think that would be okay, but they tend to frown on that. Yeah, they don't like that. They get a little upset. I used to stand by the poles at away meets and hold the bar on. No wonder nobody liked me. I don't know why, but it is. Heat 2 of the boys 200 meter on the track here, ready to go. Titusville's high jumper apparently has, I think, one more jump, and then there's a young man from Corry on the jumping pad as well. So they might have one kid in there, maybe 2. I'm not sure.
You've also over the years have had a chance to watch pretty talented athletes from other schools.
I've watched a lot of good athletes. I'll tell you this one. We were at the state meet as Heat 2 takes off. We were at the state meet a few years back, and this was back when Journey Brown was still in high school at Meadville, and he was a junior when he won his first state gold medal in the 100 meters, and we were there for his senior year. And he'd gotten beat in the semis. And I think some people gave him some ribbing, Now, again, you have to understand how these things work. They'll tell you, in the prelims, semis, what you have to do to advance. And so in his heat, he only needed to take second to advance to the finals. Okay, well, he took second. You know, it's a 100-meter dash. It's a straightaway, so lane assignments aren't really that crucial. So he took second. I think some people kind of chided him a little bit or got on his case, or, you know, not all you think you are you, Journey? So we're there on the second day, in the finals, 100, and it's starting to get warm. It's about 75, 76, and they call him to the blocks, and there's only one heat in the finals, 8 runners, one heat. He's somewhat in the middle of the pack, maybe lane 6. And he calls them to their mark. He goes set. He goes bang. And in 2 steps, the race was over. Literally 2 steps. And I knew the first 2 steps, Journey Brown was going to win that. And he won it by probably 5 to 7 meters. He was just that quick out of the blocks. Just phenomenal how quick he was. And the other thing, to his credit, Corey jumping again here at the high jump pit, he'll clear it. And I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to say it's about 5'4", maybe 5'6". But he was out of the blocks quick. He could accelerate by his 4th, maybe 5th step at top speed, but he could maintain it. He didn't start to slow. He didn't start to tight. He just maintained that speed throughout 80 to 90 meters of that race. And by that time, you couldn't catch him. It was over. Another young man, when I was in school, you'll like this one, the old Tech Memorial High School. His name was Doc Blanchard. That's what they called him. I don't know what his name was. And back then it was 2 days, and he had won his prelims in the 100, and he won his semis in the 100, and he was top seed. And they're getting out, and of course the second day is just a regular track meet. They're started the 3200 for the girls, and we happened to be sitting behind the Tech coaches. Now Tech was loaded that year, by the way. And the coaches are looking around, and we see and they're not, they sit back down. And about 5 minutes later, they're up and looking, and the girls' 3,200 meter is still going. And they're up there like that, and they're looking all over the field, and they sit back down. And when they get the girls' 3,200 done, they put the boys' 3,200 on the field, on the track, and get ready to start them. And the coaches now, all of a sudden, they're not even paying any attention. They've got a team, I think, in this 3,200 relay. They're not even paying attention here yet. They're looking around. 3,200 starts for the boys. They get about to the second leg. And then the head coach from Tech turned around, grabbed another young man by the name of Fitzpatrick, who was a very, very good quarter miler, 400-meter guy. You get up there to that dorm, you see if he's in bed. And so he takes off. Now, we were at Shippensburg State College at the time, and back then athletes stayed in the dorms. He takes off, he goes up, finds him in bed, shakes him, gets him up, they put his uniform on him, grabs his spikes, they get back down. Well, by the time they get back down to the track, the boys' 3,200 is done. There's one heat of girls' 100 meters, and it had just started as he entered the track area. He had time to sit down, put his shoes on, go get his blocks, put in his blocks, and he won.
Oh, wow.
That was his warm-up. Out of bed, jogged to the track, put your shoes on, and runs the 100-meter.
Wow.
And Tech was loaded. They had, of course, he was there, so the 4x1, they had 3 other guys that were not slow running it. They had 2 very good quarter milers. They won the 100, they won the 200, they won the 4x1, I think, and I think they won the 4x4 relays, and they had some other guys point in some other events for them. They won the state title that year. But yeah, that's... you see
Pat's
that,
thinking,
you just shake your head.
Yeah, Pat's thinking, well, that's how I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, roll out of bed and perform, and I can just imagine what Coach Kirkwood and Coach Gill and Coach Riegel would have done to me if I'd have done something like that.
You would have only done it once.
Well, I'd have walked home is what I probably would have happened, Pat, to be honest with you, yeah.
Pat, but then you think about like Babe Ruth and all those baseball players, they probably were out having fun all night, overnight, and then they'd, walk across to the stadium and...
Well,
and be able to perform at your best.
Yes.
You remember the first Super Bowl, Pat, Green Bay had a tight end, what was his name? I want to say Gene Mackey, but I'm not sure. I think Mackey was his last name. I don't know for sure his first name. He was a backup tight end for them at the time. And rumor has it that, of course, he wasn't expected to play, so he had a good time the night before. And, you know, during warm-ups or early in the game, the starting tight end got hurt. He had to go in and play tight end for him. And I think he had 2 touchdown catches. And
So in the boys discus, Titusville took first and second, with Lane Ongley throwing 142.1 and Cameron Bauer throwing 129.8. Knapp from Corry took third with a throw of 126.8.5.
Okay, Titusville will take 1-2 then in the boys discus. Good showing for Titusville there. You can see we have, if you're looking on your computer screen, Titusville now down at the javelin area, getting ready to throw the javelin. And looking at the boys high jump, Titusville still has a jumper in it. He's got to work on getting his shoulders to drop and raise his hips just a little bit to get over that height. Good effort. And again, that bar looks to be about 5'8" to 5'10", I'm going to say. Meanwhile, on the track, the 3200 is going. And from what I can see, it looks like it's just boys. No girls entered into this because they normally run them together.
Outside of being home, which was a different location for you two than down here, did you have a favorite place to go to and run track, or for Pat take part in field events?
You know, we had back then the all-weather surfaces had just started to come out. Oil City had one, and McDowell High School had one. So you know, we would, you know, of course, every other year we would be, because we were in their league with Oil City, so we'd get to run on their track every other year. McDowell, we would go up. We always attended the McDowell Invitational, so we always got a chance to run on their track. At the invite, if you made it to districts, because the state meet was held at Shippensburg and it was all weather, we used to travel to Oil City to train on their track, so that you get used to being on the all-weather surfaces. So both of those were good tracks. Youngsville had, at one point, they had a decent, it was cinder, but it was a decent cinder track. I didn't mind running at Youngsville too much. But you know, other than that, no, I can't really remember tracks all that well, the places that we ran at. I know when I ran at the old Franklin field, it was almost square. You kind of had almost 4 corners instead of 2 curves. You had almost 4 corners, wow. which made it interesting in the intermediate race, because one of them happened to sit right on one of the corners. But that's not so bad. I had to feel sorry for people that came to our place, because we didn't have back then it was yards. We didn't have 120 yards straightaway. So the 120-yard hurdles were run. The first 3 hurdles were on the curve. Now there is a home field advantage there. Wow. You get some people that come in there and look at that, and they like, how do you run these? You can't run these like, you know, and it would just completely psych them out.
Yeah, that's an adjustment.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it was like, you know, it's really not that hard, fellas. It's still 10 yards. It's just a little bit of a curve. But it's, you know, it's not going to affect your steps at all. Your steps will be the same. Just take your normal steps and you'll be fine. Just don't. But a lot of kids just could not handle that when they saw it. They just couldn't. It completely psyched them out. I got a lot of points for track because of that.
But you take it.
You take it. That's right. You take it.
How about you, Pat? Any fun stories?
You know, that old cinder track was nice. I can remember throwing snowballs down there when they'd come out of the blocks behind the, they had a little barn down there and you couldn't see them, so you heard them, you know, ready, set, go, and that was, you know, threw the snowball then. You know, track throwers didn't always take the track meet so seriously.
The truth has been revealed.
There you go.
But I can say that, like at Franklin, at their invitational, their discus, there was a good drop down over the hill. So if you were having, and I can't remember the distances when Lodge was throwing out there, but those who were getting out there, like Ongley, who were throwing 160 feet, you were getting a little advantage there because you had a nice drop off of 4 or 5 feet going downhill. So you saw a lot of personal bests at that field, and kids usually like to throw there.
Well, there were some kids that I don't remember where it was at that had the long jump pit. They were like Titusville's here. You have 2 jumping pits, long and triple jump side by side. One of them, and I think it was the long jump, was slightly downhill, which was fine until you had the triple jump, which was slightly uphill. So a lot of disqualification came in the long jump. Harder than heck to qualify in the triple. It looks like the boys' high jump. I don't know whether Corry's jumper just missed. Titusville's was still in it, so Titusville may have won the boys' high jump. They're talking to him now, probably to see what height he wants to go to. And there you can see him there. That's Coach Quinn Marsh. I coached Quinn in high school. Kind of gives you an idea of age there, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Quinn doesn't have any gray hair yet, but give him a couple of years, it'll fill in. And judging by the height there, yeah, he's going to be pushing 5'11", maybe 5'10", 5'11" is my guess. The 3200 still going on. We are on the bell lap. Corry is running in first place. I think Titusville's in second, yeah, and this young man from Corry will be in third. There's only the 3 runners, so. There we have, if you're watching on your computer, the split screens there. That's the Titusville running the 3200 run. He's in second position. On top right is the javelin area, getting ready to throw the javelin, and then you're looking straight down the runway at the pole vault on the bottom of your screen. So they're really working this Corry 2-miler, 3200, if you will. So he might be very close on qualifying for districts, as he's trying to kick it home. He is going to cross it at about 10:41. And that's either qualifying for districts or a personal best. My guess is it's qualifying for districts. Good for him. And this young man from Corry is running in third place. I think he has one more lap to go. Maintain his speed at the high jump.
Yeah, looks like that's Quentin Atkins.
Yeah, I think he's the one that is just shy of has just been shy. There's Titusville's runner coming in now on the 3200. And he's going to cross the line at about 12:04. Yep, about 12:04. And high jump, who'd you say you think that was?
Quentin Atkins.
Atkins. his best jump is 5'11", and it looks like that was his final attempt as they're closing up the pimp. But I believe Titusville took one, first place in the boys' high jump, I believe. So a good job for Titusville's high jumpers. Here comes the final runner for the 3200. This is a grueling race. And he'll finish at about 12:42. So that's the 3200. We have the pole vault still going on. And it looks like the boys' triple is still going on. Javelin is still going on. And we will have the athletes on the track for the final track event, the 4x400 relay.
You know, I think if it just a little warmer today, we'd actually hear the parents down there cheering in those field events.
You might.
Or they should do it just to keep warm.
I was going to say, if it were a little warmer, we'd have more people here, I'll bet. People now are walking around wrapped up in blankets, and the wind is a little chilly. If without the wind, it's not too bad, but with the wind,
yeah,
it's cold.
Has it been consistent over there, Pat, or has the wind been shifting at all?
The wind's been pretty intermittent over here.
Okay.
Lot of water down in here. I mean, this out where we're set up here, there's just standing water all over the place. It's quite the mess. And you can tell a lot of people were not prepared to come walk through all the puddles to get from event to event.
Yeah.
And if you look over in where they put the dog park in over there, they put a gravel base right to it. So heard people talking as they walked by, like, why didn't they do that for the throwing events?
Well, when we got down here to set up,
Well, you guys don't take it serious, Pat. That's why they don't do it.
I said before, not these ones now.
that might hang around for a while, Pat. I'm sorry.
He's liable to get a lot of nasty texts from ex-teammates.
Track meets were not all. Remember, the throwers are a different breed.
Different breed. Here's the start of the 4x4 relay. Titusville girls, the only team on the track, so Titusville will sweep the relays.
Well, when we got here earlier, towards the pole vault area, maintenance was down here trying to get the water off the track. You know, they're blowing the water off. It was just coming back. I mean, it's like a swamp, so it was just filling back up, and they're like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this off.
Yeah, it's tough. This field, trust me, I've walked this infield many a track meets, and I had a pair of quote-unquote waterproof boots that I put to the test walking across, carrying hurdles and stuff across the grass here, the old soccer field. And they were waterproof for maybe the first meet. After that, you'd start noticing it would seep through a little bit. Yeah, it's this area down here. The only bad thing about it down here is it has always had a water problem, has always held water.
Yeah. Speaking of soccer, I see our soccer announcers here. Gary Barnes just celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday to Gary. Just think a couple more weeks. We got, I think, another baseball and hopefully softball next week. And then the spring sports season will be
over.
Over.
Yeah, on to districts if you're lucky enough to qualify, whether whatever sport it is. And that's when things really, when you're coaching these kids, you've got a bunch of different kids you're working with. And you're trying to really work them all. Get them all going, get them all a little bit better. Some of your older kids, you fine-tune different things that you can't do with the younger kids, and it's a tough thing to juggle a first-year hurdler versus a fourth-year hurdler.
Yeah.
What I'm teaching him, he's mastered. So I got to get him doing something else. And it's the same with all the techniques and all the runs. The older you are, the stronger you get, the better off you go. You get into the districts when the district qualifiers now are the ones you're going to coach. And now you can start to pinpoint a little bit more. You can plan a little bit more, push a little bit more where you need to, pull back where you need to. This is where it really starts to get fun now for coaches. You can, because you might only have one, maybe two athletes to worry about, for your whatever sport you're coaching. So you get to spend a little bit more one-on-one time with them. I just saw somebody over there in the pole vault pit clear.
Nice job.
But you get to spend a lot of that more focused training and technique work with the fewer athletes, and it's.
Well, I know that it would bother you or Coach Corkland or Koval if you didn't get somebody to qualify. I mean, you tried really hard to get somebody to go.
Yeah, I can remember, and your son was involved in this. In 1 year, I had one hurdler, and lost him, and we had to have the sprinters come in. And I made all the sprinters come in the gym and just jump over a hurdle. And that's basically what it was. And your son, who did it, who gave me everything he could possibly give me, unfortunately, your rack you didn't pull hard enough on the rack. There's tight as a little clearing the bar. And another young man by Landon Wolfkill came out of that mess. And we worked really, really hard with those two kids, and they lost a year because they were both sophomores when they first started to hurdle with me. And that 1 year, it makes a difference. Both of those young men will tell you, if I'd have done this my freshman year too, I might have been a little better off. And both of them very hard workers, which sometimes you don't get when you draft kids. This is with track today, you get to participate in 4 events. And typically coaches will steer you in a direction of you've got speed, you need to be a sprinter.
I was just going to say that there's I think track's one of those where, and Pat, chime in, if the athlete comes in thinking, well, this is what I want to do, but the coach is going to say, well, no, this is what we need you to do.
Yeah, you'll get 3 events that you want to do, 2 to 3 events that you want to do, but there may be spots where you've got this ability to do here. We need you here if we're going to be successful team-wise. You may not like it. I did it with Sam, my youngest boy, for a couple of years in the intermediates. And actually, I think I made him run those 3 years. And his junior year, he stood about 6'2" and weighed about 205. That's a big intermediate hurdler. Now, I let him out of it his senior year. But we needed him to hurdle that year in the intermediates. And, he had a group, too, there. You talk about how timing works and everything in high school athletics. I had 4 kids. Sam was one of them. I had 4 kids that were hurdling for me in 1 year. And we had 4 good hurdlers that year. And if they had a hurdle relay, we'd have been contenders because they all ran very well. One of them really liked to run the intermediates, so we didn't have to run them all in the intermediates, and which allowed us to move that hurdler out of an event into something else, to help us go. So when you have that kind of options available, it really helps you out. But we've had some good hurdlers. We had some very good distance people. We've had some very good sprinters here in the past. We have one this year who I'm sure is qualified for districts and will hopefully. I think he's a district champion, and hopefully get to states again, and will perform well down there. So it's really fun as a coach to watch these kids if you're lucky enough to have them for 4 years, and watch them just develop, not just as a hurdler or as a sprinter or as a thrower, but as a young man. The difference between that freshman that you had and that senior you have. It's really kind of fun to watch that maturity happen.
is senior night too. They'll be recognizing the seniors. Colin, you can adjust your camera if you want to follow the javelin, follow the throws, so we can
Well, they're measuring the javelin off now, so.
Any good throws down there, Pat?
There were some. They hurried up and threw a couple of people. I don't know whether they're doing a relay or what they were heading over the track, but they split them up into almost like 2 heats. So we had 3 or 4 kids throw first, and then they left, and then the rest of them threw. So in that first group, we had a few more go out. Probably our first, second, and third throwers were in that heat.
They're up here doing what you'd want to do, Pat.
Get warm?
No, they're up here getting ready to run that 4x4 relay.
Well, I was going to say it was really nice of Luke to bring us some hot chocolate to get warmed up with, too. Coffee and, having everything set up for us down here.
Well, he's a nice guy.
He is.
He's a nice guy. But
we don't quite have the concession stand that
no,
do
we
during
don't.
Football
They don't do football. On the track now, this is the men's 4x4 relay. Corry will have a team, and here Titusville it looks like we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams possibly lining up here. Now, again, this is the last home meet. Tradition dictates that you have your quote-unquote, and please don't send me emails and letters, Fat Boy Relay. That's where the throwers come up and they all
Big
do
man,
that.
yes.
Well, that's, you can call that now, but tradition dictates. And, it's a fun time. Kids enjoy it.
Pat, the suspension has started. It'll last until end of August.
Yeah.
We've been suspended for better things and worse things.
I was going to say, I've done a lot worse than that, for crying out loud. I've got less suspension time.
I mean, they haven't plugged you for a while tonight, Luke. I mean, I'm surprised they let you
true.
anywhere near these kids.
And they're off and running again. I don't know which team. I think lane 3 we'll see, or lane 4 is the actual point team.
Pat, is it worse over closer to the javelin area in terms of the swampiness over there? Yeah.
Actually, as you get over towards the javelin area, it's not quite as bad.
Okay.
The area, once you get out of 150 yards from it, it really gets into pretty swampy area, all the way over back to the shot put.
So there you see Titusville running 1-2 in the 4x4 relay. This is the first leg. They'll have to run what they call a 3-corner stagger, which means because it was a staggered start, they have to run in their lanes the first full lap, and then they have to run the curve of leg 2 to over where you'll see just shortly where Coach Corcoran is standing, those cones. Then they can cut to the inside lane and run any lane after that.
Wow, look at the ground over there.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's I had waterproof boots and I put them to the test, and you can see how it can be here.
I know at one point I looked over and Pat sunk down so much he looked like Bill McCrillis. And the height.
The height that
I ran into Bill this morning.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you hurt him?
No.
Okay.
No.
Too much the car.
Yeah. He wishes everybody well. He's doing great.
Leg 2 coming into the exchange zone now. Titusville again running 1-2. And I'm not too sure. I'm assuming the kids in front are the first place team. Titusville's ever-present. It might be they've got a couple of them thrower teams running, or maybe there's all freshman team as they come in.
So for javelin, Caden Bauer took first with 116 feet 2 inches. Tanner Clifford took second with a throw of 113.9, and Davis from Corry took third with 110 feet 1 inch.
Okay, good outing in the field events today for Titusville.
I might have to watch and put my life preserver on to get through this puddle up here.
Well, just call for help before you go under. Remember, Pat, it took the Titanic 2 hours to sink, so you should be able to get help out before you go under.
I have enough insulation, and I should float pretty good in that.
It's probably as cold as it was that night too.
It might be. I told you about we were down in Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we went to the Titanic Museum, and as you're walking through and stuff, you all of a sudden you start to get a little chilled, and you start to get a little cold, and you walk through this door, and what actually it is it's set automatically for the temperature of the evening, and they have a little thing, a trough of water that flows in front of you that you can touch, and that's the temperature of the water. Holy cow! I mean, you talk about cold. And it's a wonder, because of the salt, it doesn't freeze. But if it were fresh water, it'd be a solid block of ice. I mean, it was cold. It was something.
Pat, the only thing Steve remembers from that museum trip was this fun fact that the pools on the Titanic are still filled.
Yes. Yeah, they're still full. You want a funny story on this? You're gonna like this one. Okay. We went to the 5th playoff game in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Penguins. All right, so we're down there. Yeah, we're here game 5. We're at the second intermission, and we're standing by a table just outside of the arena itself, and myself and a couple of guys I work with, Rick Bailey being one of them. And I happened to have on an orange sweatshirt, a pale orange sweatshirt, not really the burnt orange of the Flyers, but a pale. This young man, all dressed up in Penguin garb, comes up from behind me and leans over in front of me to see what's on my chest, figuring it's a Philadelphia Flyers insignia and was going to give me. And he looked at it, he said, oh, Titanic. And my friend Rick Bailey looked at the guy and says, yeah, he's the oldest living survivor of the Titanic. No lie, this guy looks me square in the eye and says, really? And I felt like Bill Engvall saying, yeah, I was actually the guy that helped them film the movie. Here's your sign. And I got done, and Rick was laughing, and I'm laughing. These two of the guys that we were with are laughing, and it's like, I looked at Rick and said, do I really look that old?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Did I really look that old?
Oh.
But yeah, that was.
See, these are
maybe a little too much to drink for somebody.
I don't know. I'm sure he had a couple of refreshments, but yeah, it was something.
Oh, that's funny.
But so the track events here at this last home meet of the season have finished up with the finish of the boys 4x400, and if you didn't catch it through our ramblings, Titusville's won all 3 relays for the boys as well. So a good showing here. Really, overall, pretty impressed with what we see on the track and what we've heard about in the field. We have, I think, just about everything's done. If they're done throwing javelin, which I believe they are, because we've got those measurements in, they're closing up the pole vault pit. So this meet has pretty much come to an end.
We're just finishing up the girls' shot put right now. They're getting the final throws in, I believe.
Shot is still going on. So.
Yep.
So we'll keep the camera down there. I assume any seniors down there, do we know, Pat?
I do not know that.
Okay.
That wasn't on my information that it was handed to me.
Next year, we will work on that.
Next year, we might have warmer weather.
Next year, I'm going to check before I say yes.
Well, yeah, and again, really, the temperature itself isn't necessarily the problem, but that wind is bitter cold.
Yeah.
When you get a break from the wind, not too bad. But when it blows, man, it is bitter cold.
Well, Pat, I think you mentioned it earlier. Today, it's got to be tough, if you woke up this morning and said, boy, I need to qualify today, or I want to have a great day, the weather certainly isn't going to help you with that.
No, it's particularly if you're a sprinter, today's weather is not going to help you achieve that goal. Jumpers, same story. Throwers. The problem with throwing, Pat, is, when it's cold like this, is you have to stand around so much.
Yeah, you're waiting a long time in between throws, and just like anything else, you got to stay warmed up. You got to be moving. And down here, you're taking your throwing shoes and you're standing here up, trying to stay warm and moving in a puddle.
Well, and those throwing shoes, you're trying to keep them dry and clean.
Yeah, so
as
you're not
well.
sliding.
So we don't have a place necessarily where if you're wearing those shoes, you can do some accelerations and keep the blood flowing without ruining the shoe to throw with. So it's a little difficult when it's cold like this.
And it's been a big change since noon today.
Yeah.
I was out at lunchtime and, it seemed a lot warmer and a lot less wind, but I was also in the woods at that time.
Well, we setting up today, actually it was a couple times, I was like, that's not too bad.
That went away quick,
It did, yes it did. Well, we almost did put the bungee straps on the tent. I'm like, let's just do it just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. Like they say, if you don't like the weather, hang on 5 minutes, it'll be different.
Cullen, I don't know, can you adjust yourself a little bit over there and maybe capture more of...
See if he can wade through the water a little bit.
Oh, well, yeah. I forget there's that part.
Your dad doesn't care. Get your shoes dirty. He'll buy you some more.
Make sure you put them on the back of your dad's seat when you get in the car.
Put them on your expense report. Again, girls shot put, I believe, is what's has to finish up here, and you see the boys over by the high jump pit getting their final thoughts from their coaches on today's meet. So if the timeline is correct in my head, you're looking at about, what do we say, about 2 weeks to district meet? I think. About 2 weeks for districts, and then you have maybe another week if you qualify for states, a week after that. So in about 3 weeks, this spring sports season, as far as track and field goes, will be in the books.
They're going to start practicing for football here pretty soon, and we'll be back to Friday night games. Wondering how we got there.
Pat, no joke, we hit January, and people were already asking about things for fall. I know there's some of the athletes are focused on winter sports and spring sports, but also talking about fall.
Talking about fall, yeah. I mean, you're still in Northwest Pennsylvania, and yeah, soccer's popular and so on and so forth, but football is still king in the area. And, I think that's probably the general trend across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where football is still king.
Well, you look at the attention with the draft in Pittsburgh, and, just Western Pennsylvania as a whole in terms of generating talent for the NFL.
Yeah, has been a good well for the NFL to draw from. And because it's gained so much in popularity, that well just starts to spread. And you pick it up, somebody who was in Northwest Pennsylvania and moves to Mississippi. And all of a sudden he brings that little nuance of Pennsylvania football to here, and it starts to build, and then they had their own little nuances to the game, and it just becomes a whole hodgepodge of popularity across, and has built into the predominant sports at all three levels, really: high school, college, and pros.
Hey, I'm just I'm waiting to get out and golf. Just one day.
Just once. You might only get just one day.
Have you healed up from last season yet?
It's still sore. Thanks for asking, Pat. It's not as bad. Here's what I did though. I sprained my wrist a little bit. I after a tennis match, I thought I'm going to show these young guys how to do it. And I should have warmed up, and instead. Oh yeah.
You understand how? I was going to say, you know how that worked for me?
Well, no. There's two parts of this.
Okay.
I got some aces in on my serve.
Okay.
And then I walked off and was in pain.
Well, at least you got to walk off. The last time I tried to help young high school kids with their sport, I won a helicopter ride to Erie.
Oh no.
You win.
I didn't feel like winning that night, buddy.
Well, another one of our colleagues was playing basketball. Joe Roddy was playing basketball with his son and friends at Pitt about 2 months ago and tore his ACL. So,
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's it's funny how the human mind works. It really is, And granted, I'm not the brightest twig in the forest, and I never will be. But you're in
we
an
have that
age-
recorded, right?
You do. I freely admit that. I can remember when that happened to me. I was 43 years old. Okay, I'm thinking to myself, well, with these kids watching these kids, I can still do this. You honestly believe that you can still do this, and so you're dumb enough to actually go try and do it. And you'd like to think that you were smart enough to learn the first time. You can't do this, at least not with them. Maybe with other 40-year-olds you're okay, but against 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, you can't do this anymore. And
I'm dumb enough not to think that I need to warm up. That's
the hard part. Yeah, I need to warm up and spend all my time warming up, and then let them get themselves tuckered out. Then maybe I can play.
Yeah. Well, and then Pat, we always park at Dick's and walk through Dick's if we go to the mall, and we walk right past the golf cleats, and Amy always stops and says, "Hey, we're going to have to look at those before we go because you're not slipping and falling again."
And sometimes you're just better off reminiscing and telling them how good you were as an athlete.
Yeah. I could drive a ball 300 yards. Well, here's a club. Well, that was a long time ago. I'm
my
a little
shoulder can't
older
do that
and
anymore.
I'm not as flexible, and I can make up a whole bunch of excuses. The first one is, I'm 63 years old, fellas. If you don't beat me, you shouldn't be doing it.
And it looks like Mackenzie from Corry took first with a throw of 29.1. Kata K from Corry took second at 28.9. And Addison B from Titusville had a throw for 27.8.5 for third place.
Okay. So the girls' shot put is in the books, and that will close the events for this last home meet of the 2026 season. Titusville Track and Field. Our congratulations to all the athletes, whether you qualified for districts or not. You made it through a season, and this is not easy. The first 2 weeks of track season can be brutally tough as you just try to build up conditioning and so forth. So it can be very, very difficult. So if you get through a track season, you've accomplished something.
I also feel like this window of spring sports it just seems like it's so short compared to fall sports and winter sports.
It's very, very tight windows, but you stop and you think about it. You look at football, you've got 10 weeks. So if you get hurt and miss a game, you miss 10% of your season. So that goes quick. Now there's a bigger buildup if you look at it as far as summer events, things that you can do in football today that we didn't do back when I was playing.
Yeah.
So there's a bigger, longer buildup for football.
Well, really, your fall sports, whether they're the voluntary get-togethers, from June,
right,
through November, and if you go to the States, you're playing in December,
right.
But even winter sports, basketball, you're practicing in November. It feels like your season's getting started in January when you start getting those regional games.
Right.
And you're into February and
you're done.
The beginning of March maybe.
Yeah.
Or swimming's in March.
If you get in playoffs or, if you get into postseason, it extends a little bit. But yeah, the windows, and this is one of the things, we always try to tell kids too, your window of opportunity is small. realistically, because the reward for your work is the competition. And that reward is a very small window. No matter what the sport is, you have limited opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to learn to make the most of it. You have to learn when there's an advantage and take advantage to succeed, and take advantage of this opportunity that you have, because as we've talked about, you're going to get older, and these things that you kind of joke at, you're going to look back out and think, boy, I really wish I could do this again. I'd love to be able to go out and hurdle again. Would absolutely love to do it. I'd get over the first one and tear everything from the waist down, and my wife would kill me.
I was going to say, Steve, we could make that dream happen.
Yeah. Is there an ambulance standing by?
In here
I was going to say, get the ambulance in here, and we'll give her a shot. But no, I used to, just trying to do things with the kids when I was coaching with them. And it's like, I can't bend that way anymore. I can't even show them the position they need to be in because I can't bend that way anymore. That's why we encourage kids, high school kids, always get involved now. You're young, you can do this while you're young. Some of these things you can't do when you're old, so experience them now.
Pat, do you ever think back to a match, a game, an event at high school where you just kind of, I wish I could go back to that moment and just turn it up a notch or do whatever?
You look back and look at it fondly, knowing that you can never go back. I mean, and it's been enjoyable watching the kids over the years, and you get to see everybody doing something different. And even with coaching things, like seeing youth football and seeing some of those kids move up into the high school games, it's fun watching things change over the years.
It is fun, and it's always been enjoyable. I always found it enjoyable coaching when I was coaching track, and of course, when your kids are doing it, your dad/coach, they may not enjoy that role as much as you do, but they have to suffer through that too.
No, it was a ride home.
But it was, well, there's some, there are some horror stories here and there that can happen, but it's always fun to watch kids play, particularly when they're trying to do it right. And it's this has been a fun time here this afternoon with these kids, watching these kids run and participate.
Aaron Burrows. Aaron is the son of Kevin and Candy Burrows. He is a sprinter, and he has participated in track for 5 years.
Aaron Burrows?
Aaron Burrows, it's senior night here for Titusville.
Okay, next we have Bryce Campbell. Bryce is the son of Aaron and Melanie Campbell. Bryce is a sprinter and jumper and has participated in track for 4 years. His future plans are that he has enlisted in the Air Force.
Bryce Campbell, right? Nice thing. And I heard he's enlisted in the Air Force. Good for him.
Ian Hartney. Ian is the son of Robert and Julie Hartney. Ian is a distance runner and has participated in track for 3 years. He plans to attend Chatham University and study physical therapy.
Ian Courtney.
Michael Culpepper. Michael is the son of Heather Saxton. Michael is a sprinter and jumper and has participated in track for 5 years.
Michael Culpepper.
Xander Morgan. Xander is the son of Drew Morgan and Kelly Morgan. He is a distance runner and has participated in track for 3 years. Xander has enlisted in the Army, and his specialty will be air defense artillery.
Thank you.
Blake Ross. Blake is the son of Tim and Amy Ross. He is a sprinter, hurdler, and does high jump. This is his first year participating in track. Blake plans to attend Washington and Jefferson University. He is going to play football and major in business and minor in entrepreneurship.
Young man going to try his luck at the next level.
And finally, for the boys, Sawyer Wolfkill. Sawyer is the son of Julian Ryan Wolfkill. He is a distance runner, and this is also Sawyer's first year participating in track. Sawyer plans to attend Penn Tech, and he is studying to be an electrician. Okay, boys, line up nicely.
Let's
Boys.
boys.
Line up nicely.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, now we're going to do-si-do.
First up for our girls.
And smile.
Addie is the daughter of Art and Katie Burley. Addie is a sprinter, jumper, and most recently a putter. She has participated in track for 4 years. Addie plans to attend Clarion University and study medical imaging. Jenna Crocker. Jenna is the daughter of Matt and Megan Crocker. She is a thrower and has participated in track for 6 years. Jenna plans to attend Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and study aerospace engineering. Marley Griffin. Marley is the daughter of Kate Sampson and Josh Griffin. Marley is a sprinter and jumper. She has participated in track for 2 years. Marley plans to attend South College and study radiography. One of our seniors could not be here tonight, but it is Sarah Kaminsky. Sarah is a distance runner this year, but has tried pretty much every track event through her career, and she has participated in track for 4 years. Sarah plans to attend IUP to study forensic science and music. Cadence Massetti. Cadence is the daughter of Kathy Moyer and Ruben Massetti. Cadence is a thrower and has participated in track for 3 years. Her future plans are to attend Pitt at Titusville to study nursing. Hayden Nichols. Hayden is the daughter of Joe Nichols and myself, Tara Nichols. She is a sprinter and hurdler and jumper. Hayden has participated in track for 5 years. She plans to attend West Virginia University and study business. Abby Saints. Abby is the daughter of Rebecca Saints and Samuel Saints. She is a hurdler and participates in high jump. Abby has done track for 3 years. She also plans to attend Pitt Titusville to study nursing. And our final senior of the night, Charlotte Winger. Charlotte is the daughter of Andrew McGill and John Winger. Charlotte is a thrower and has participated in track for 5 years. Her future plans are to attend the University of New Hampshire to study musical theater. Big round of applause one more time for all of our seniors.
There they are. That's a lot of seniors.
It's a lot of seniors. Class of 2026.
Is someone in the stands taking a group photo? Yes? Okay.
Well, congratulations and best of luck to all the seniors. Everybody's final thoughts here.
It was a nice night to be out here. To get to see some kids coming and throwing. I haven't been down to see a track meet in a couple of years, so it was really nice. Even though the weather may not have cooperated, it was a really nice night to be down here to get to see them. You always enjoy it when you get down to see them.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought the performance on the track was pretty impressive tonight. Now I don't know that much about Corry, whether their numbers are down or whether things were off or whatnot for them. But Titusville really had control of this meet pretty much from the start. So really impressed with what we saw on the track tonight from these kids. Again, fun to come watch the high school kids. Some of these kids I still remember from when I coached, so it was enjoyable to see them.
All right. For Pat Nosco, Steve Bodemer, Adam Bodemer, Cullen Rio, I'm Luke Rio. Thanks so much for being with us here. Senior night at the Ed Myer Complex for Titusville Track and Field. Hopefully, we will be back down here next week for some baseball and softball. And we're looking forward to it. I think Monday night is senior night for baseball as Oil City comes to town. So looking forward to bringing you that action on Monday. We want to thank our sponsors for allowing us to be here. Oil Creek Plastics, Titusville Area Hospital, Interstate Pipe and Supply, State Farm Insurance, Poppies, Armstrong, J. Gill Plumbing and Heating, New Directions Community Credit Union, Fat Chad's Brewery, Ed Burns Tire Sales and Service, and the Bailey Group. Big thanks to all our sponsors.
Thank you for watching Stream Sports' presentation of Titusville Rocket Sports on Stream TV.